Hi, it's FM Runnable on this gorgeous day. It's Thursday lunchtime in Chelsea. So those that watch the channel know what that means. It's my Battersea Park run. So today I'm going to be doing a little rehearsal for a race I've got at the weekend. So I'm going to be running in the Cielo X1 2.0s today. There you go. Those fine looking shoes, and I'm going to do a sort of 7 or 8k run around Battersea Park. It's quite warm, so maybe 7 rather than 8, and just get used to the shoes again. I haven't actually run in these since I did a 20 miler about 4 weeks ago. So ahead of that actual 20-mile race, I just need to remember what these crazy shoes feel like, and as a good practice in general, if you're planning to run in a shoe that you haven't had much time in, definitely a day or two before the race, take it out and get used to the shoe, because otherwise you could get yourself in a bit of a mess when it comes to race day, understanding how the shoe works. So I'm reminding myself of what this crazy shoe feels like to run in, and by the end of this run I should be ready to take on that 20 mile in this shoe. I already know it's a bouncy shoe. I know it's very rockered and it's got an early stage rocker. I know it's an unstable shoe, particularly for you heel strikers, but for me as a 4-foot striker it's pretty good. I just need to remember, the best way to run in this shoe, and obviously practice going around corners, going up faster speeds, that kind of thing. So with that, I'll leave you. Check out the run footage around Battersea Park. Beautiful on a day like this, and yeah, I love you all. See you soon. Bye bye. Right, so I don't know if you can hear me with all this traffic noise, but I'm on my way across a bridge near Chelsea to Battersea Park, and I've got on my feet today Cielo X1 2.0, and I'm planning to use these super shoes in a 20-mile race at the weekend, and I've only ever ran one 5k and one, I think, about 20-mile run in these shoes. So 37, roughly 37k altogether. So I wanted to have another run before that race on Sunday in them, just to familiarise myself with them. So this will be a kind of an 8k run, a couple of loops of Battersea, and I think it's an important thing actually when you're planning to run a race in a shoe that you haven't used that much. It's definitely important to take it on a little spin before you do that race. So yeah, you should get used to it, particularly a shoe that's as wild as this one, because it literally bounces you along. Like, it's got an incredible bounce, this shoe, like the original, but it's actually more aggressive and more unstable than the original, and so even more reason why you should practice in it, because otherwise come race day, particularly if you're going 20 miles, you could get in some serious trouble with your ankles and foot if you're not used to running in the particular shoe. So it's always wise, I think, to take it on a bit of a spin. I know there's a school of thought, save race shoes for race days, but I think you need to be comfortable with the shoe first before you take that approach. So I would advise a kind of break-in period where you break in the foam a little bit and also get used to running in the shoe and something like 20 to 30 miles is pretty good braking period for any shoe, I think, in my opinion. Some prefer a bit more, some actually likes to, straight out of the box, would like to run a race in the shoe. I wouldn't subscribe to that theory, but I know I've seen a few YouTubers that do that. I think it's bonkers, but I can see why they're excited to use their new shoes, right? Just could be a recipe for disaster, particularly in a shoe like this, which, like I said, is so different to most running shoes you'll ever run in. I mean, it's so bouncy and propulsive. It just bounds you along, and you really do have to be mindful of your foot strike with this shoe. So if you're a heel striker in particular, this shoe can feel very unstable. Right, I'll strike my heel now. Yep, I'm feeling it's trying to pronate me, which I don't like, because there's a cutout kind of where I'm landing. It's trying, my ankles are starting to try and pronate, and I'm having to fight against that. So that's not good. So I'm going to go midfoot now. Yeah, midfoot's much better. I'm hitting the bump and I'm rolling forward. Just goes to show it's amazing how a shoe based on your foot strike can feel completely different. It's completely different. Now I'm up on my forefoot and it still feels great. I think there's kind of a sweet spot somewhere between midfoot and forefoot where you benefit from the bump, but you also transition very quickly through onto your forefoot. And this is why I think these shoes could be some of the fastest shoes I own for me, because it suits the way I run. It really does. I mean, if they were to make a shoe based on my foot strike, this wouldn't be far off. Same with the Edge Paris as well, with that early stage rocker like this has got. It's kind of perfect for where I like to land. I'm not right up on my tiptoes, particularly if I'm running a long race, but I am hitting that sweet spot, which is just after the midfoot, very close. Well, actually on where that rocker starts, the early stage rocker. Feels a bit like the Pro 4 in the sense it's and the Edge in the sense it's an early stage rocker, probably something around 60%, rather than the more traditional 70% you get in a lot of shoes. Here's the famous track again that I've run around quite a few times now in races. I love Battersea Park, such a great place to run, so flat, and so you're always guaranteed to have a really fast field, which is also quite helpful. So whilst you're unlikely to win races here, you are likely to set PBs because of how flat and how competitive the races are. You've always got someone to run with, and you don't generally, unless you're really speedy, you're not generally out on your own up front without anyone to race with, because there's so many quick runners that run around here. But I also love this park for training, particularly this time of year when it starts to get a bit sunnier and warmer So beautiful, beautiful park, hive of activity, lots of local running clubs use this park. They use the athletics track, and you get lots of super fit looking people running around, making you feel ashamed of yourself. Just kidding, no body shaming here, but yeah, in general, great place to run around. And going back to the shoes a minute, the Hoka Cielo X1 2.0, great shoes for this kind of surface, this even surface even, where you're just bounding along, increasing your foot length, stride length, and really hitting hard down on your foot strike and leaning slightly forward so that you get that forward momentum. These are perfect shoes for that kind of way of running. It's almost a touch too warm today, to be honest. So I just looked at my watch and I'm running around about 4-minute kilometers, and without even trying in this shoe. This is a rapid shoe, really fast. I know, David, in Australia you've got this shoe, right? And I think the more I run in this shoe, the more I realise this could be a viable marathon option. If you want to take on that marathon, really go for it. I think there's only one gear in this shoe, and that is the fucking go for it gear. Excuse my French. I mean, you're not going to go slow in this shoe, and that's the only worry I have, and I'm sure you do have, David, as well. What's it going to feel like mile 20 of a marathon? Well, good for you. I will be able to tell you exactly how that feels like, probably, almost definitely, in Sunday, in a few days time, because I haven't run more than a 5k race in this shoe, so I'm planning to run that 20 miler in this shoe to give me a real idea of whether this could be my marathon shoe. So I've run with the Endorphin Elite 2 over half marathon. I've run the Adidas Pro 4 over half marathon. Both got similar results. So this one I'll be taking slightly longer, and let's see how they perform on the day. I'm hoping for a bit cooler weather than this there, because this would be rather hot. I'm guessing it's about 14 degrees here at the moment, without much of a breeze. So I'll be sweating a bit after this, which is not great for going back to work, but there you go. It's a lovely feeling running in this shoe. Just bound along. Potentially, like I said, along with the Edge, potentially my fastest running shoe. Fastest ever time at Oak Hill Park run, 5k in this shoe, where I ran 17:13, and that was a good over 10 seconds quicker than I've run it before. My next best, I think, was Adidas Pro 4, 17:25, I think, something like that. So just shows you that these shoes, these new super shoes that have come on board this year, are really good. Potentially a step up over what came before, which is great. It's what you want to see, right? You want to see things evolve for the better, not for the worse. But I mean, what I would say for heel strikers, this is probably not going to work out for you. As I mentioned before, it's just too unstable on your heel. you feel like you're wobbling all over the place. It's not a shoe designed for slower heel strikers who are heavier runners. Stick with the Cielo X1 for that. But for those of you who are confident of going all out, taking a marathon on, going on your midfoot to forefoot, maybe starting off forefoot, drifting back to midfoot. If you're confident that you've done your training and you want to see how well you do in that marathon and get your fastest time, then these will be right up there with some of the other aggressive shoes, like the Sky Paris A6 Med Speed Sky Paris, like the Edge Paris, like the original Endorphin Elites, like the Nike Alpha Fly, like the Puma DV8 Nitro Elites, you know, all these super fast racing shoes. This is right up there. It may even be faster than most of those. I do wonder if it's as fast as the Edge, but that's the only one I'd be slightly wary of predicting that this is faster than. I think the rest, I think it's fair to say this could easily be faster over those shorter distances. Whether though over the longer distance it is, all depends on how you can handle the stability issues with this shoe, how confident you are of maintaining that precise foot strike over the marathon distance, how well your training's gone. This is not a shoe to take on a marathon if you have got any doubts about your training. You have to be 100% sure you've trained well and you have no injury concerns. And that is pretty much me. So to summarise, Cielo X1 2.0, super fast shoe. You can really motor without actually feeling like you're running fast. It bounds you along, increases your stride length because of the bounce. So those that are cadence runners, it will improve your overall speed because it will encourage you to lengthen that stride a little bit. And those of you who are bounders, it's going to make you bound even more. And those that land midfoot, you're going to get that nice bump and roll forward. And those that are on the forefoot, you miss the bump but you still get that aggressive early stage rocker, and eventually when you get tired in your marathon you're going to drift back to where the bump is in the last 10k or so, and you're going to benefit from that midfoot massive stack of foam which you get in the shoe, which is why it feels so weird to walk in. And that is me. Hopefully you found that interesting, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.